Disturbing new video appears to support some of the accusations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
We want to warn you.
A lot of the things that people really say about him, you didn't experience that as in dating. That's not something that you saw. So is that the reason why you never said anything? Is that the reason why when all of these allegations and lawsuits came apart, why didn't you speak?
Because I can't speak on something that wasn't my experience. And I can't speak on something that I don't know. I can't speak on these allegations because I wasn't around at the time. I don't know that person and that wasn't my experience.
Okay, now, we need alcohols.
Right.
Alcohols.
Right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just different blend. You need the ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants?
No. No, I don't know if guys have noticed this, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They just, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right.
Gotta keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
yeah.
Rock with me, but just check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of heat. Yeah.
Heat, you mean that physically the place has to be hot?
This video is about to change the way you see Sean Diddy Combs forever. Known for his larger-than-life persona, Diddy has built a legacy in music, business, and entertainment. But beneath the surface, there's a darker side, one that many of his fans either don't know or choose to ignore. Today we're exposing the scandals, controversies, and secrets that Diddy's carefully crafted image tries to hide. From lawsuits to questionable business practices, this video will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the hip-hop mogul. As Diddy once said, bad boy for life. But some of his actions might leave you wondering, at what cost? Stick around, because the truth is far from glamorous. The dark side of fame.
Federal judge is now refusing to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail. Instead, he's going straight to jail tonight after Diddy pleaded not guilty to charges of and racketeering. Want to show you some of these brand new court sketches coming into us, literally in the last 90 seconds. This is Combs in court after prosecutors arrested him at a hotel in Manhattan. It's where he's apparently been living for weeks, according to what a person familiar with the move tells NBC News. All of it a tipping point now in that sprawling federal investigation into the superstar's alleged years of dating back to 2009.
So I think the most important thing, even more important than the passport, is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, Mr. Combs is in New York. Do you want to know where he is? If you want to know where he is, I'll tell you where he is, but he wants to surrender. He's here to surrender. They didn't want him to surrender because if he surrenders, they don't get to tell the judge that he's a flight risk and he's a danger. Because who, as a danger and a flight risk, would fly to New York and surrender? So they didn't want him to surrender.
Diddy has always enjoyed the spotlight, but fame comes with its consequences. Over the years, Diddy has faced multiple lawsuits, including accusations of physical and emotional abuse. Some former employees have even spoken out about the toxic work environment at his companies. One said it was like walking on eggshells. Diddy's temper was unpredictable. While he may present himself as the charming businessman, the truth behind the scenes paints a much different picture. His love of control and power often led to explosive confrontations, tarnishing his relationships with business partners and employees alike. Exploiting power.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them.
Prosecutors say Combs punched and kicked his victims to try to keep them under control. He'd also, they say, filled them up with drugs like ketamine and ecstasy for long periods of time, even using incriminating records to try to manipulate his victims. Prosecutors say they discovered this wide range of evidence against Combs in several raids. They found things, they say, like AR-15s, narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson.
Diddy's rise to the top didn't happen without controversy. Over the years, he's been accused of exploiting his power in the industry, particularly with up-and-coming artists. Some artists signed to his label, Bad Boy Records, have spoken out about unfair contracts and financial manipulation. One artist said, "You either played by his rules or you were out." While many credit Diddy for discovering talent like the notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige, there's also a long list of artists who feel they were taken advantage of. His aggressive business tactics, while successful, have left a trail of broken relationships and betrayed artists. The scandals.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars.
P. Diddy, or Daddy, or Puff Daddy, or Diddy, well, whatever his name is today, his LA area home has now been raided by the feds. In fact, multiple of his homes were raided by the feds. TMZ grabbed footage of the homes being raided. According to Homeland Security Investigations, earlier today, Homeland Security Investigations New York executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and local law enforcement partners. Apparently, the case is being handled out of the Southern District of New York, and it is tied allegations which have been levied against Diddy in recent months from a variety of plaintiffs. Now, again, none of this is particularly shocking. There are people who have been talking about this for years. Cat Williams, the comedian, was recently back in January talking about how Diddy was going to go down very, very soon based on all of the allegations of sexual and sexual impropriety going on regarding Diddy. And, some of this obviously is just celebrity culture. Unfortunately, there are a lot of mainstream Hollywood celebrities who are engaged in evils.
Diddy has been no stranger to controversy. One of the most infamous scandals was his involvement in a nightclub shooting in 1999, which left 3 people injured. While Diddy was acquitted, it didn't stop the negative media attention or the damage to his reputation. Jennifer Lopez, who was dating him at the time, distanced herself quickly from the situation. Over the years, Diddy has faced several lawsuits ranging from assault accusations to contract disputes. These scandals have followed him throughout his career, making many question how he's managed to avoid major legal consequences. The yacht party scandals.
He was the guy that our crew chased down the street because he was trying to be a part of it, and he ran. You understand? We brought him back, beat the shit out of him, hit him in the head with cake spoon and champagne and all the other shit like that. He was wanted to be a part of us. He was the one used to beg, "Don't go to the party, please, please, I'm on my way, so he could walk in the club with us. You understand? So to answer that question, bro, you're not doing nothing that's gonna cost my livelihood. You understand? You're not gonna do anything in front of me to cost my livelihood. You understand? Now, have I seen some shit? I seen a dude come up in the club and blow somebody's head off. I see the smoke running through the crowd trying to get to the lights. You understand? At a New Year's Eve party. So now, I see this guy laying on the ground with his head tore down to the white meat. Did I know who did it? No. Did somebody tell me it's about to happen? Yes, they did.
Diddy's yacked parties are legendary, but they haven't been free from drama. One infamous party saw celebrities like Jay-Z and Beyonce, but what really goes on behind closed doors is another story. Rumors of drugs, excessive alcohol, and inappropriate behavior have plagued these events for years. In fact, a former attendee once said, "If those walls could talk, Diddy's empire would crumble." These parties are not just about fun, they're about power, control, and secrecy. Many celebrities who've attended are reportedly terrified that details could one day leak to the public. Control freak.
An enabler, or did you allow or see stuff that you're like, man, I ain't gonna jump in that?
Bro,
go ahead.
Criminals do crimes with criminals. I've never been a criminal. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So now, if you're looking to answer something about Puff, Puff ain't the Puff. Puff had different phases of his life that y'all don't understand. And let's get down to the nitty gritty of it. You understand? First you got Puff Daddy, who had Daddy's house and the parties and things like that. Then you had Puff. You understand? Then you had Diddy. Then you had Brother Love, and then Love. I had Puff around the stage when he was Puff Daddy and Puff and some of Diddy. Not the new Diddy that they gave the diddler and everything like that. So he ain't the guy, he wasn't the guy that y'all see now back then when he was in Harlem. You understand?
And now that you've handed over a few kids yourself to make sure they get fixed up just like you, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's the mediocrity or that you're just mad that they you first. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but it's just, it's how do you accept an award for being something that you know you're not? How do you do that? How does Common sit around and pretend like he's a prolific black rapper when all you've done is line up amazing black women to move them out of the way when they don't go the way the Illuminati wants them to go, like Lauryn Hill, like me, like Tiffany Haddish. That's 3 women who are real as who used to deal with you, and their careers changed after you.
Diddy has a reputation for being a control freak, whether it's with his businesses, his music, or even his personal relationships. Multiple former associates have described him as manipulative, always trying to control every aspect of their work and personal lives. One insider said, "Nothing happened in his circle without his approval." This level of control has helped Diddy maintain his empire, but it's also caused him to lose important people in his life. From business partners to romantic relationships, his need to control has left a trail of broken bonds. Ruined relationships. Diddy's personal life has been filled with high-profile relationships, but many of them have ended in drama. His relationship with Jennifer Lopez ended after the 1999 nightclub shooting, and his long-term romance with Cassie also dissolved amidst rumors of infidelity and control issues. Cassie, who dated him for over a decade, once said, "I loved him, but I had to find myself again." Even friendships with industry heavyweights like Jay-Z and Kanye West have seen their ups and downs due to Diddy's often overpowering personality. These relationships were often the price he paid for his relentless ambition. The big legal troubles.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them.
Prosecutors say Combs punched and kicked his victims to try to keep them under control. He'd also, they say, filled them up with drugs like ketamine and ecstasy for long periods of time, even using incriminating records to try to manipulate his victims. Prosecutors say they discovered this wide range of evidence against Combs in several raids. They found things, they say, like AR-15s, narcotics, more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants. We should note here that an attorney for Combs says that he, I'm quoting here, will fight this with all of his energy. His team is already planning to appeal the bail ruling.
From contract disputes to allegations of violence, Diddy has faced numerous legal battles throughout his career. Most notably, his involvement in the nightclub shooting left 3 people injured and resulted in a high-profile court case. Although he was acquitted, many believe his powerful influence in the entertainment industry helped him avoid harsher consequences. Diddy has also faced multiple civil lawsuits, with plaintiffs claiming physical assault and emotional abuse. His response to these lawsuits has often been silence, settling many cases out of court, further fueling rumors about the darker side of his empire. Diddy's media control.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Diddy's influence doesn't just stop at music and business. He has significant control over his media image. Through his ownership of Revolt TV and connections in the industry, Diddy has managed to keep many of his controversies out of the spotlight. Media insiders have claimed that he uses his power to sway coverage of his scandals, ensuring that the public sees only what he wants them to. A former journalist said, "When Diddy calls, people listen. He has the power to make stories disappear." This tight grip on the media has allowed him to maintain his clean public image despite his many legal battles and controversies. Manipulative tactics.
This morning, embattled music mogul Sean Diddy Combs will remain behind bars on charges that include sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy after a second judge overseeing his federal criminal case denied him bond once again.
The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot.
Outside the New York City courthouse, his lawyer defiant.
He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer.
The judge ruling the bail package presented by Combs' lawyer was insufficient, siding with prosecutors who called Combs a threat to society, adding there is no condition that would assure that the rapper would not obstruct justice. A major topic of discussion ahead of the ruling, this troubled 2016 video that shows Combs brutally beating his then-girlfriend, singer Cassie, who prosecutors say was attempting to escape from one of Combs' so-called freak-offs, elaborated coerced sex parties that he often recorded.
And I'm Cindy Hsu. Sean Diddy Combs has been charged in federal court in New York City, and an indictment into the charges music mogul's facing was just unsealed in Lower Manhattan.
The indictment alleges that between 2008 and now, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced his victims. It even alleges he led a racketeering conspiracy that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, among other crimes.
Damian Williams, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, is speaking right now.
And let's head to the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan and hear more about the charges in this case.
Arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers.
Diddy's ability to manipulate those around him has been a key factor in his success. Former associates and employees have spoken about his ability to get what he wants, often through manipulation and fear. One former employee said, "Diddy has a way of making you feel like you owe him everything, even when he's taking advantage of you. This manipulative behavior has allowed him to build an empire, but it's also left many feeling used and discarded once they've served their purpose in his rise to the top." Diddy's downfall?
In sexual evils, that sort of stuff has been common in Hollywood going on a century at this point. So, again, not a giant shock. The sex trafficking allegations, the extent of the sex trafficking, that's kind of shocking. Obviously, this also has to do with rap culture. As a former #1 rapper myself, I can safely say rap culture itself, again, having nothing to do with color, but a culture that glorifies the treatment of other human beings as pieces of flesh to allow you to copulate or to perform your sexual pleasures upon. That is the vision, unfortunately, that rap culture pervades. That has some real-world consequences for the most famous people who engage in it. So fame, money, celebrity, a permissive sexual lifestyle that encourages this sort of treatment of people. It's not a shock when that ends in criminal allegations with regard to sex. Here's Cat Williams talking about this in January.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn.
Is Diddy's reign as one of the most powerful figures in entertainment coming to an end? With more and more people speaking out about his manipulative behavior, legal battles, and toxic work environment, some believe it's only a matter of time before his empire collapses. As more of his dirty laundry is aired out, the question remains, how much longer can Diddy maintain his grip on the industry? One insider said, he's built a house of cards and it's starting to wobble. Only time will tell if Diddy can weather this storm or if we're witnessing the beginning of the end.